Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 101 of the Cabot Cove Confab podcast. This is Sean. Yes, we are joined with another guest. My apologies to David and Dante. I know we would have them on, but it just turned out that today was the perfect time to do this because we were supposed to get together and record with Eric and Isaac for Caleb's Novice Elitist podcast. We were going to talk about the Return of the Jedi. Then Isaac couldn't make it. Then Eric couldn't make it. So Steve's like, let's talk about The Thing. Okay, cool. And the John Carpenter The Thing. And then it was like, you know what? Why don't we do Cabot Cove Confab? Because your schedule is such, Caleb, that if we tried to do this with you, we basically have to, just you're impossible to schedule with. You're a very hard person to pin down. So, yeah. So before we talk about who threw the Barbitals in Mrs. Fletcher's Chowder, I think it might be the longest title, and I think it's also very, very fitting. But we'll get there. And let's have some pre-show banter. Can I start? I actually have a lot, so like I don't know. I saw some films. I saw one in the theater the first time I went to the theater in a long time. I saw Heretic with Hugh Grant as this movie it's one of those movies where it's one thing halfway through and then it turns into another thing the other halfway through, and I wasn't too pleased about that. Hugh Grant carries this whole fucking movie. He's fantastic in it. I would think that he's going to get a Best Actor nomination, but of course it's a horror movie, so people don't like to do that. Except for when it was Silence of the Lambs, but in The Sixth Sense. There's others. I just can't think of what they are. But, it was mostly okay. It was above average, and it was a really clever idea for a movie. Except there's moments where it sort of steps that fine line from like a psychological thriller into a supernatural horror movie, and I didn't like that. So yeah, it's not like it doesn't turn into like, oh, aliens have landed or anything like that, or there's ghosts here or anything like that. But I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was excellent. They even had a picture of young Hugh in it. There's a picture of him with his dog in the living room. The young, like, Four Weddings and a Funeral Hugh Grant. Yeah. Then I was on Shudder, and Shudder is making a lot of documentaries. They made one about black horror a while back. They made one about folk horror, giallo, and they have a new one called King on Screen, which is about the movie adaptations of Stephen King stories. I fucking loved it. I love Stephen King, and I think I love Frank Darabont even more. And one of the best stories, Frank Darabont, of course, I think he's made 3 Stephen King movies: Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist. And so apparently he wrote the script. It took him a few years for Shawshank Redemption, and he wanted it to be produced by Castle Rock Entertainment, which is the production company created by Rob Reiner when he made Stand By Me. And he was like, okay, I think I want to make this, Rob. Instead of you paying me for this script, I think I want to take it elsewhere and make it myself. Rob Reiner was fine. Rob Reiner wanted to have Tom Cruise in the main role. Doesn't that sound awful? So yeah, that's a good movie. And then I saw one other movie, and then I'm done with pre-show banter. Well, I'm done with my pre-show banter. This is also on Shudder, and this is another documentary, and it's called Shark Exploitation, and it's a documentary about shark movies. I was in pig heaven. They do, of course, spend a lot of time talking about Jaws, but they also spend a lot of time talking about like those silly sci-fi movies like Sharknado and its progeny. But my favorite thing is that there's a glaring problem in it. Somebody tells the story. There was in '69 before Jaws, there was a Burt Reynolds movie called Kane, where he played a treasure hunter named Kane. Well, the story goes, there's, of course, in all these underwater exploring movies, there's always sharks, like with the deep and yeah. And apparently, legend has it that a shark got loose and killed a cameraman. They kept the footage and then used the footage in the movie when somebody gets killed by a shark. Life magazine did a huge story on it. They changed the name of the movie to Shark! Exclamation point. Yes. And Life magazine did this huge spread. The movie did very well. When Jaws was released years later, they re-released this fucking movie and called it, oh, I can't remember what they called it, but I think it was like Maneater or something like that. And this whole thing is just, since this movie came out, I think Life magazine put out a statement that said it's all a hoax. We just did it to give the movie publicity. Yeah, and Life magazine, I thought you were better than that, but whatever. Okay, so those are my picks: Heretic, King on Screen, and Shark's Exploitation. King on Screen. King on Screen. I really enjoyed. It should be Heretic, but just like learning about these movies that I haven't even thought of in years is really like Cujo. You remember Cujo? Yeah. But really? Well, yeah, that's what happens in the book. The kid dies in the book, but in the movie they let him live because, movies. So, mm. I'm trying to think of all I can think of in terms of the movies is Herman Munster and Pet Cemetery. Sometimes dead is better. Yeah, Fred Gwynn. I think that was probably his last film. And that was Frank Darabont. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. But the beginning of the movie, it starts off like a regular movie rather than a documentary, and it's like this short, like 8-minute piece with this lady coming into a small town in Maine, and there are all these stupid references to Stephen King, like somebody's walking a Saint Bernard. There's a shop with stuff in it called Creep Shop. Um, yeah, yeah. Needful Things. Yes. Yeah, actually, it said Creep Shop, and then underneath that, it said We Sell Needful Things. Hmm. Yeah. So, any pre show banter from you guys? I'm so disappointed. Yes. Y- No, we only had maybe about, not including the ones that we did with you, Caleb. Oh, that's right. For those of you who subscribe to the Columbo Combat Confab feed, you will hear us on Caleb's podcast, Novice Elitist, talking about Columbo. So anyway, what was the question? The gummy's starting to kick in. Okay. We did with the TARDIS Tavern. Yeah. 100 and 101, and we haven't even done half of them yet. There's like 260 something. Shit we watch on Netflix. Yeah. Eh, But I would always cheat at that one because I'd pick movies that weren't even on Netflix. Steve followed the rules, so he would pick the sci-fi movies from Netflix. But like, oh man, have you ever seen a movie called The Fourth Kind? Just don't. Oh, the house that dripped cum. Yeah. Oh, that was so bad. That was my fault. Yeah, sorry. You're joking, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm over here rubbing my hands like Montgomery Burns. I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry that didn't work out for you. But do you remember back in the day, everybody was like, "Don't buy DVDs no more. Don't buy Blu-rays. In the future, everything will be streaming. It'll come right to your house." Yeah, we got rid of cable and expensive cable bills. Now, to watch what we really want to watch, we have to have 200 different channels. You know, I don't know. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh. Well, you do. Oh. Jesus. He used eminent domain, an exercise or a move that's almost used like exclusively by governmental entities. So I guess somebody. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. he's not. He's not kidding. And Texas completely lost its shit. T- Ted Cruz went on vacation. Hmm. Does he say, "Follow me for more recipes"? Huh. So it's like, sounds like a sounds like a really good plot for Murder She Wrote, if you ask me. Star- starring Bruce Jenner, and yes, that is a thing. They have a sports episode with Bruce Jenner in it, and Dick Buckus, and a couple other sports names that are. I think so. I watched part of it. Well, so are we ready with pre-show banter? I think the listeners, the readers. Okay, all right. All right, so before we talk about who threw the barbitals in Mrs. Fletcher's chowder, which I'm just going to call this Mrs. Fletcher's chowder. Oh, that doesn't sound good. I want to ask Caleb. Caleb, what is your history with Murder, She Wrote? Mm-hmm. Wow. So we picked the right episode for you. um. So did. Oh dear. Oh. S- What is your favorite episode that you've seen? Is that Mirror Mirror on the Wall? I know what you're. Oh, that's the one we did with Jade. Um, the late. She's wait. Is she the one that claims that she had a kid with Jessica's late husband? Oh, okay. We did that. Okay, yeah, with Olivia. Isn't like. Isn't it like? Hey, no, she earns it. She can use the Irish accent. It's fine. Yeah, she can. I have. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh God, yeah. I mean, there's got to be. Okay. Well, there's others that are, Murder Takes the Bus is really good. Snow White, Blood Red is really fun. Yeah. No, it's like, oh, did not like that one. It was horrible. That made me angry. Well, the trailer made it look like it was like Menudo or something. Yeah. Like, damn it, I wanted Ricky Martin. Where's Ricky Martin? He does not kill or get killed. He just adopts a bunch of Thai children. Oh yeah, Jessica always has a friend. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Um, oh man, I'm craving a tuna omelet right now. No, no, I bring that up because there was that episode where she heard a murder. She was bedridden with a bad back, and it was she overheard a murder, and her nephew Grady. It was inspired by some old movie, and Grady just kept cooking for her, and he made her a tuna omelet, and she did. Yeah, for some reason, and so I mean, Tuna casserole's good. Tuna pot pie sounds good, but tuna omelet, I'm gonna say no. Of course, Amos ate it. He's like, well, I'll eat it. I love tuna, and I love pie even more. Yeah, that was yeah. I went to the Colleen Camp School of Acting. Floyd, yeah. Well, anyway, this is in the what I like to call the. I didn't know that he came. I thought he was already gone by season 4, but this is during the Amos Tupper era, because you've got 3 eras of Murder She Wrote. You've got Amos Tupper, you've got Ron Metzger. Is it Metzger? Ron, yeah, and you've got New York, because more. There we go. Start. No, it's Ron Masak because I looked him up. I looked him up today. Yeah, he died like 3 days after Angela Lansbury. And what was really depressing was he put out like a statement like I'm sorry to hear of Angela's passing, and then like 2 days later he was dead too. Yeah. So this is a pretty Amos heavy episode, and by the way, this opens with a lady named Winnie getting off the bus, and she's being followed by some sketchy guy. This scene was filmed on the Universal Studios set, so as far as I know, you can go see it. And if you look, you don't have to look too closely, but it's there. The orca from Jaws that lived on the Murder She Wrote set for quite a while. Well, one of them that was used anyway. And it's going back to shark exploitation. No, they did not. But they brought up alligator. I like that because one of my favorite creature features is alligator. Scared the fuck out of me as a kid. Yeah, and I to my to the I will never ever swim in a pool at night ever because of that movie. God Almighty. Mm. Oh no, I know what you're gonna say. Oh no. Well, that's actually funny. I didn't remember. Oh yeah. Oh God. I got com- I got complaints from my Austin Doctor Who friends for that. That is so disgusting. Oh yeah, absolutely. If something is your fault. So we, I forgot about the podcasters dying at the end. That was yeah. It's like oh, I want to go in the TARDIS tavern so I can swear and die at the end. And oh my, what I like the genius idea. I went on vacation and Steve had me regenerate into Eric from the Doctor Who book club. Yeah, and then at the end, I guess he hit his head or something, and he regenerated back into me. That was very cool. Thank you so much. People ask, where can I find it? I'm sorry. Only Caleb and Steve. We lost. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was the yes. We lost one of those people. Uh, David Keep. Yeah, rest in peace. David, yeah, you took a sabbatical to become a monk, and I did Ark in Space with David and Elizabeth because they hosted Professor Dave's Ark in Space. So, anyway, I did not. She, I looked her up though, and she played. I think she played one of the old people in that movie Awakenings from 1990 with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was one of her last movies. And really, well, that's just interesting. I did not know that. Wow, that's some wild stuff, Ed. Wild, wild stuff. Well, she's in town. Pre-deathed. She pre-unalived. I do too. It's just like, hi, we're going to prove that we're woke podcasters. We're going to use the word unalive. But unfortunately, YouTube needs to change. Anyway, don't get me started on that. Turns out that Winnie is Amos Tupper's sister that we never heard of before. Younger sister. Yes. You're in your 50s. I'm still 49. It's the gummies talking. I No, we'd be the Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets. That's who I want to be. So, oh god, this episode is kind of fucked up in a way. So Winnie has just left her husband Elmer, eh, Elmo. Oh yeah, Elmo. That's right. I have to mention. Okay, okay, okay. He's the one that was in Airport 1975, by the way. He played somebody named Colonel Moss. A very handsome man in his younger years, too. Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, his. His photo, his headshot on IMDb is like from the 40s and smoking hot, dude. Anyway, I'm sure he looked like. Yeah, I'm sure he looked like that when Winnie married him. That reminds me. I think William Wyndham aged better than most of them because when you see him in Columbo, because he was in the first episode of Columbo, which we're gonna go there again, and he was in the episode with Roddy McDowell with the exploding cigars. He's one of the three people. Yeah, I think he looks better in his older age. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Tom Bosley's looked the same since he was 13 years old. What was it? Glad trash bags? Get mad. Get glad. Um. Yeah, yeah. But who can blame her, really? I mean, it's not every day that you leave your husband. And I think there was some physical abuse there that's implied. Mm-hmm. But what do you want? It's 1988, you know. Mm-hmm. Um, Ed Bellamy. I wonder if he's related to. Yeah. Well, Bellamy is also. Oh God, there is a gay Czech porn company. I'm sorry, Eric. Czech Republic porn company called it's called Bellamy, but it's Bel and then Ami. It's probably the most famous gay porn company in the world. It's been around forever. Yeah. But I wonder if he's related to actor Ralph Bellamy, who is in no, no, the actor. No, the actor. And you bring it right back. Yeah. Oh no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I am so sorry. You're right. It's the character's name is Bellamy. My bad. My bad. I don't know what the actor's name is. But he's like this character. Like every mystery has one. Like the guy who can't be the murderer because it would just be too obvious. You know. Um. So uh, Amos is mad because his deputy quit yesterday, and he has to answer the phone. And this is interesting because there is exactly the same problem in If It's Thursday, It Must Be Beverly, but it was Seth's secretary that quit. Mm. It was like the Golden Bachelor. Oh! Oh, that's awesome. I forgot all about that. That's genius. Wow. Okay. One of the few callbacks. Ring your bell. Um, yeah, this is interesting. He says he's hiring for a new deputy, but the very next scene, he's got a deputy. Deputy Andy? Grover! That's right, it's Grover. Grover, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Like, oh, like, we have this. That's what they would call Seth. Seth is actually Cookie Monster. Oh, no, he's Pie Monster. Pie. Jessica got some coffee. I've got some pie. Um, yeah, yeah. You know what? And you know what? It's like, okay, we're gonna have this character. He's only gonna be in this one episode. He's young. He's handsome. What do we call him? Grover. Like that. Hey, you guys! I always liked it when Grover was the waiter serving the blue guy, and he would always, yeah. Oh, don't worry, sir. He won't eat much. Because Grover is basically Yoda. Mine, mine. Hey, you guys. Frank Oz. I'm so. I know it. It was. There's a monster at the end of the book. I loved it too. And as you get deeper into the book, well, deeper for a kid's book, like there's more and more junk that appears on the page. Like the book is getting wrecked because the monster's ruining it. And of course, the whole time it's Grover. Yeah. So, so I forgot where we were with this. Oh yeah. Is there is there anybody you'd rather be unloaded onto than Jessica Fletcher? Oh God. Not to be pedantic, but I believe his name is Rolf. Rolf. Rolf the dog. I never liked him as a kid. I always would like. Yeah. Yeah, that's not what you said. Oh, or what if said writer was at a convention that you enjoy going to, and let's say said writer is Andrew Cartmel, and I'm like, I'd love to buy a copy of your signed book, and he's like, okay, and it's this trade paperback, $50, and of course you're not like that's too much, and you walk away. No, I paid for it. So I think you know what? I think it was $50 for the whole thing, but it came with postcards. So, what happens next? Oh yes, we dump. And Jessica, I'm really glad, Caleb, to hear that you've sort of been watching along with us, more or less, because if this was your first episode, I'd be afraid that you'd think Jessica was a total bitch. Because when Amos brings his sister to her, she's really angry because she needs to finish her book. But Amos is probably doing the right thing. I think that he did the best thing. So what does Amos do? He calls up Seth. No, I'm sorry. Jessica calls up Seth because Winnie doesn't have what kind of medication? It's for an ulcer. Yeah, and I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, and I don't even know what. I don't know what. Anyway, so Seth takes a liking to her. So you got a little bit of Golden Bachelor moments here, and it's actually kind of cute because you never really see Seth pine after anybody except for the way he pines after Jessica, which is a total platonic relationship. Except you know that they porked once in the past. Like you know that he put her up on that. I'm sure he. I'm sure he would have loved that afterwards. Jessica, can you round me up some pork sandwiches and some coffee? Jessica, Jessica. And then Amos shows up. He's like, "While you're here, why don't you help?" we yes. Wait, Steve. Let me ask you. Do you know who that actress was? Okay, go ahead. Oh, I haven't seen one of those since my grandpa took me to see Police Academy 4 in the theater. Yeah. She was in another film, Steve. Do you know what it is? He's doing this on purpose. No, Caleb can sit. I'll give Caleb the honors. Oh my! You did that movie? I love that fucking movie. Oh wow! Yeah, Joe Bob Briggs did it a couple months ago, last season, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And I'm like, oh, 1970s. And Steve, this is what this movie is about. I'm sorry, this is a tangent, but the readers may want to know. So there's this guy, his wife. He lives in this really nice house. His wife goes because his son's having an operation, so he's going to be home for the weekend. Well, these two women, one of them played by Colleen Camp, show up at his front door. They're looking for a house. They're at the wrong house, and it's raining outside. So he's like, "Come on in and dry off, have some coffee, whatever." And 10 minutes later, they're having sex. They're having sex in the bathroom, in the sauna, or in the a hot tub. And it's like the long, oh, oh, shit, oh, oh, fuck me. Okay. Oh my god. But but in this, I mean, 3 years before this came out, she was in the other movie that I'm sure you're it's on the tip of your tongue, Caleb. She's like hot. She's gorgeous. Um, Would that be Battleship? Mm, is it Monopoly the movie? What can't? It's Clue. I think there's only two. I think there's only Clue. And then the sequel, Choking Hazard, um, which is a sick, awesome game to play when you're drunk with your friends. Um, yeah, yes, it is. Oui, oui, madame. No, I just have to powder my nose. So, yes, Colleen Camp, who plays Mary Gold in this, was Yvette the maid in Clue, where she busted out. Yeah, Colonel Mustard. In flagrante delicto, remember? Um, Jesus. Okay, okay, Caleb. All right. Okay. You have to you have to see that shark exploitation movie. You have to see that, Caleb, because they and doesn't it have the body count of like two? Like he has like the and in the book there is a novelization, and in the book apparently it was apparently it was possessed by like a holy man or something that had it out for the Brodies. Yeah. Yes, voodoo, voodoo. It was in the novelization of the movie. But you have to see Shark Exploitation because there's a movie who's an actual marine biologist, and she says that guiltily that's kind of her favorite Jaws movie because it's kind of like a slasher movie except with a shark, which I don't know what the fuck. Show me a slasher movie that has a body count of two, you know? Anyway. Oh, that's got a bigger body. That's the one with the scarf, right? You know what I'm talking about. Oh. That wasn't or April Fool's Day. That's it? Oh, I didn't know he was in that. I kind of pissed me off too. Cuz yeah, I really enjoyed watching that until the end when it and I don't think they're pranking one person. I think it's the one girl pranking everybody. Anyway, this is a spoiler for April Fool's Day. Yeah. I think spoilers for April Fool's Day have passed the statute of limitations. I think it's okay. But so wait, I do want to ask you something. Mary Gold is I'm going to call her Mary Gold because she does have a really cool name, Mary Gold Feeney. And she's not. They're not trying to pull off the dumb cop thing, kind of they do with Deputy Floyd later on. And I feel like maybe they were trying to put in. They were trying to write in a permanent supporting character, but there were things like, why does she have a southern accent when she's from Maine? That makes no sense at all. She had like a Georgia accent. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. She's the early equivalent of Maurice's girlfriend from Northern Exposure. Nobody knows I'm talking. Excuse me. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Maurice was Barry Corbin in Northern Exposure. We love Barry Corbin. He's he was the rich astronaut guy that kind of lived like on the outskirts. Yeah, it's true. I th- oh yeah. Well, I can't blame him. But lady things. And your your tuna omelets. Your fucking empty bird cage. I'm gonna see if she's got that bird cage in her living room. I have never seen a bird in that cage. I think she's just got it up for decoration. There is. It would so it would be like the satanic forest animals in South Park. My name is Chickadee, Chickadee, praise Satan. You know what I'm talking about? No, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah. And their names are like, there's a deer named Deary, there's a chickadee named Chickadee, there's a dog named Doggy, stuff like that. And they tear people apart. Anyway, sorry. Um, Winnie's family arrives in town. What's the name of the actor who played Elmo, by the way? Mr. Handsome turned. There we go. This was his second to last role. You know what his last role was? Columbo. He was in the episode Columbo Goes to College. And it said that he plays the club owner. And I have absolutely no memory of who that could be. But yeah, yeah. And this Murder She Wrote was second to last, and Columbo was his last. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that was it. I'd rewatch the episode, but really, who has the time? Careful, we have some listeners who may be MAGAs, but okay. Yeah, never mind. He's HBO, yes. He's Mitt Romney. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go finish my book. What they all really need to do is just check her into a hotel room, and then once everybody is done working, just go out for some Mexican food and margaritas. That's all. Old people love margaritas, I think. This is the only Mexican restaurant in 200 miles. Seth would be like, "Do they have pie?" Yeah. Oh, that sounds really disgusting. I had Mexican food today, and I ordered tortilla soup, and it was really plain and had just a huge glob of cheese in it, and I think it was more like Mexican rather than Tex-Mex. But I don't know. Nobody needs to know that. Yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me. So I don't really. I don't. I fine. Yeah. Okay. So it's not Parmigiano Reggiano, is what you're saying. Okay, we have to. Yeah, I've got to go. Or there'll be explosive diarrhea everywhere. Uh, I do have to mention, this did kind of inspire me to go back to working on my diorama of Jessica's kitchen. Because there is a lot of kitchen stuff in this. There's a lots of scenes in that kitchen, and you can see a lot of stuff, including at the back door. There is a coffee grinder that is apparently upside down, and it was upside down for like the first couple seasons or so until somebody told them, that coffee grinder's upside down, and then they turned it around. It's a wall-mounted coffee grinder. It's my grandma had one like it. Yeah. But Winnie's family arrives, and boy, oh boy, wow, these people. See this. This is the thing. This is a little bit different from like Poirot going to a dinner party with all these fancy rich people. Like this is like the exact opposite of that. And these people are so rude. But I want to talk about the actors. And Caleb, you should recognize one of them. Did you recognize one of them? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's the poor man's Tim Conway, because that's who I think he is all the time. I was watching. He was in. I think it was The Devil's Rejects. Is that the second one? It's the second one. And he played one of the victims at the hotel, and when I watched that, I had to look up Tim Conway because I thought it was Tim Conway. I'm like, why is he in this movie? And I thought he was dead. You know what a Tim Conway is? Wait, how much is a Tim Conway? About 120 pounds. Sorry. Okay. It, you know what he was in, and I forgot about it? He was in Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot. Remember? He was in the rocking chair. Teacher. Teacher. Anyway, sorry. Yep. Yep. Sorry, Steve. What were you saying? Yeah, he's very prolific. He's done a lot of TV. There's also, oh, that's Elmo's brother-in-law. What's the guy's name? Henry Gibson. Henry Gibson. He's married to I'm sorry, Elmo's wife, Flo, who's, oh my God. This, yeah, all these people. The title of this episode should be "How Not to Act When You're Invited to Someone's House for Dinner." She is the most rude dinner guest. No, sorry. And then, of course, we have Harold, the other brother. I've always loved him. Played by Henry Gibson. No, joke nobody got? Oh, gosh. Blues Brothers? Anybody? He played the bad guy. Yeah, the head Nazi. He's the one at the end. I've always loved you. And then the car crashes and they die. Yeah. Yeah. Corey Feldman, Tom Hanks, Bruce Bruce Dern. Huh. Is that Joe Dante? Um, is that Bruce Dern? No. I don't know. Oh man. Wait, wait, is it Dick Miller? Okay. I I used to listen to Joe Dante's podcast, and I'm not saying that I'm Joe Rogan or anything, or that I affected the election, but I'm gonna say Joe Dante's he's a horrible podcaster, and his co-host just talks the whole time. Could you imagine that? Um, really? Yeah. Murder, carnage, death. Film at 11. It's one of my all-time Piranha. I love that movie. Anyway, uh, oh, oh wait, okay, yeah, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Wait, wait, Steve. You know what though? I just want to say one thing. Do you know what Tupper has in his closet? Tupperware. You know, Eric and Kat would be much more sympathetic, and Kat would laugh at that joke. I'm just saying. Okay. No problem. And Flo's like, no one in our family has ever been divorced. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I really hated that character, and I looked her up. I think she's the only person. Oh no, Colleen Camp is still with us, but the actress that played Flo is still with us as well. There you go. Yeah. Barbara Rhodes is neither. That's more fascinating podcast here. I'm gonna make a new podcast. Steve looks up stuff on IMDb. It's just half an hour of, well, let's see, and clicking. Oh, really? They did a spin-off of that? Oh man, who did she play? So, oh, I know who she is. She's the lady that worked at the carnival that took pictures. Do you remember? Columbo goes, he finds a picture of Patrick McGowan and Leslie Nielsen together. She gets it for him, and he's like, okay, who's that? It's a fat lady. And like Columbo says something really sarcastic to her. He says, shows you what you can do when you try to do a good job. Like, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, he was kind of snippy to her. Not my favorite episode, but I remember her. Yeah. I will mention though, Caleb, you mentioned this. When watching this, it's like, where's the murder? Who's going to get murdered? Um, yeah, yeah. What's going on? I know. Jessica's like, Jessica's like, we really need a murder. Maybe I should host a dinner party. Um, what is she? Yeah. Stack, stack. I remember when my grandma and her boyfriend at the time, well, actually, yeah, her boyfriend until he died, they went to go see that movie Sideways um, with Paul Giamatti. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church. Really depressing movie, but I love that filmmaker very much. And my mom asked her, "How did you guys like that movie?" There was nudity in it. It was like a stag film. That was her. That's how she described it. It's a stag film. And there's literally like 3 seconds of nudity in that movie, and it's when the naked guy runs out after he goes and steals his wallet. It's a really funny scene. The Shining. Watched that with my grandparents once because my grandpa likes Jack Nicholson. Uh, and if you ever want to hear a correct opinion about The Shining, you can listen to the classic horror cast and hear me talk about it. And no, doesn't. I don't know. That's all gone. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Listen, I picture you as you are Julian Glover for our I don't know if what the Lannisters, what the fuck we are, but you're the what do they call that guy in Game of Thrones? Cullen Camp should have been in that Game of Thrones. There you go. There you go. No, no, we have not. Wow. Yeah. Well, you've got the cricket ball, which if you die, I get it, right? Y- Yeah, he's got all of the classic doctors that are still alive have signed it. Yeah, for obvious reasons, but yeah, that was shipped to John, our friend John Brannigan in the UK, and he brought it to a convention and had Tom Baker sign it. Um, okay. Okay. Yeah. What's the Chinese one? I saw that movie with Aquafina about her grandma. We called my great grandfather. we just called him Old Pa. He's a old hillbilly, and he couldn't pronounce my name, so he just called me Johnny. Hey, Johnny. No, he couldn't pronounce. He was an old hillbilly. I think the man like moonshine was in his food pyramid. You know what I mean? I don't know. No, old Pa, but you can come to my house and see. Johnny. Hey, Johnny. That's literally what he sounded like. I know I sounded like a zombie just now, but that's literally what he said. And I had another great grandfather. We just called him Big Grandpa, which I think is kind of cute. He's gonna haunt me tonight. Gonna wake up, all the cats will be dead. What? What now? Yeah, yeah. I remember my grandma got a new car, and she got one of those cars. She probably paid super extra for this. It was the screen that has GPS on it and radio and all that. Oh man, did she goes, and I don't know what this is. And she like waved her hand at it like she was putting I'm like, it's the GPS. That's how you get around. Oh, Odessa. What are those kids doing? They are just playing. Yeah. Or the whole oh, Odessa. No, one of them asks it, Alexa, how many hits did Satchel Paige have on Monday night's game? And it says, Satchel Paige is dead.
Wikipedia.org. Despite being violently challenged, Page kept the game to a 1-1 tie
Okay,
in
Alexa,
9 innings,
stop.
striking.
One of my favorites. Speak and we'll talk about speaking of old people, we'll get back to Murder She Wrote. But one of my other favorite old people skits on Saturday Night Live is when they had Pedro Pascal playing the Mexican mom, and the guy brings his white date over to meet her, and that's pretty damn funny. And the oh, Steve, do you know who created that? You know who wrote that? It's the trans lady that's in that Will Ferrell documentary. And at one point when he goes to meet her, he puts on an "Oops, I crap my pants" shirt, and he goes, she wrote this, so I feel I should wear it for her. Which I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad somebody thinks about that still, except for me and Steve. Okay, yeah, all right, we got to get to the dinner parties. Somebody's gonna die real soon, promise. Oh, it's what's his name? Ed Bellamy calling. Yeah. Oh, um, Yeah, that's me talking to my grandma when I was little. Um, but oh, she liked it. Oh, sure, I'll. But I, I think I should mention we have never before seen the inside of Amos Tupper's house, and he actually lives like a real gentleman. He's got Kentucky bourbon. He's got multiple bedrooms for all of them to stay in. I don't think this. Yeah, so did John Wayne Gacy. That's no, that's fucking true. John Wayne Gacy had a tiki bar in his living room. I have heard it. Yeah. Do you know about my John Wayne Gacy connection that I have to brag about? He okay. He did really have a tiki bar. Um, okay. So we have to get past the dinner party, and then I have another thing that I should have brought up. And so she never uses her dining room except when she has fancy parties, I guess. She's cooking lobsters, which I fucking love lobster, but the process of cooking lobster, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd be with you, Steve. We could just sit on the floor and eat it together, shells all around us, and just pass out. But what kind of Philistines don't like seafood? I thought everybody likes seafood up to a point. Um, yeah. Wait a minute. What? We do? We have it? I've had it. Oh, yeah. There is a yeah, it's pretty fucking good. The best the best the best that I've had is in Martha's Vineyard. Damn, it was like one of the best things I ever tasted. It's like this is the most perfect clam chowder ever. And that bitch Flo does not appreciate it. I hate her. Oh god. Looks like I'll have to solve another one. Yes. Um in the episode Something Borrowed Someone Blue, what's the actress's name that was on Two and a Half Men? She's no longer with us. She played the maid or the cook in that, and she gets stabbed with a meat thermometer. And it's at yes, and this is at Grady's wedding when he marries Donna. And what he says after the murder, he's like talking to his would be wife, and he's like, "Great, I just knew this would happen. I knew this would happen, just like at our engagement party," which is an episode I haven't seen. But yeah, that was the only time that I can think of that was commented on. And there's been a couple times where cops recognize her, they know about her. Yeah, local woman solves murder. Well, so as the title suggests, somebody puts barbiturates or barbitals in Mrs. Fletcher's chowder, and just this I find highly questionable. Jessica and Seth are in the kitchen taking lobsters out of the pot when all of a sudden there's a scream. No, it's code for lobsters. Lobsters, which by the way gave their lives for nothing because no one's going to be eating them now. Um, I have no idea what that meant. Really? I that's yeah, it's not. I had so this is actually rare to see lobster on Murder She Wrote. The town of Cabot Cove is loosely based on I don't know where I read this. Don't ask me to quote it. I don't know. It's loosely based on the town of Kennebunkport, Maine, which I was at a couple years ago, and they have one of the most famous lobster restaurants in the world. And it's not even like a fancy restaurant. Like you go inside, it's all wood and it's all like wooden benches. It looks like it's a summer camp dining hall, but everything is lobster. You just order your lobster and you eat it, and delicious, delicious. But I am not a fan. I get really creeped out sometimes tearing the lobster apart, and Tom, being Asian, insists that every substance of meat must be eaten because the Asian people don't waste anything. That's how chop suey was made. You just put everything from the refrigerator that's left over and you make a mix of it. But anyway, I don't know why I had to share that. That's the gummies kicking in again, I think. I don't know. This is, you know what? I want to send this clip to like, there's this guy that does a YouTube video for like doctor advice. Like, this really, really handsome guy with glasses, and he talks about doctor. And then I love watching him, but I want to send that clip to him and say, do barbiturates really take this soon to kick in? And does this mean that Winnie should be falling asleep from just taking the medicine for her ulcer? Because we find out that the barbiturate that was used to poison the chowder came from Winnie's prescription, which the way she described it, it sounded like it was a liquid, because she says she spilled it all over the floor or something. Oh, it was afterwards she dropped it on the floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have to admit, I like this episode. I think it's a lot of fun, but it's no like murder takes the bus. It's almost like a quirky small town murder mystery written by, oh God, well, who's the author? Jane Perry, with quirky characters and all that. And I kind of appreciate that, and I also kind of appreciate. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there, but Elmo dies. Not the real Elmo, but the fake Elmo on Murder She Wrote. And yeah. And how did the murderer know? Okay, everybody's gonna get poisoned. How did the murderer know that Elmo would die again? Okay, we'll get to it. Okay. Phenobarbital. What is that used? Obviously, it's an anesthetic. Do they use that for surgeries? Sleeping? Oh, okay. I wait. The reason I asked that because if you put those two words together, you get the word fentanyl. So I was wondering. I don't think they were on fentanyl because I've had fentanyl and it doesn't do that to you. But yeah, I was cataract surgery. Just want to make it clear, cataract surgery. Okay. Bellamy. Bellamy. Yeah. Suddenly Elmo was standing beside me. Yeah, it doesn't quite ring this true. Wait, I'm sorry. I just want to say the clam chowder scene, the part where they all pass out at the table, reminded me of that scene from The Meaning of Life, the Monty Python movie, where the Grim Reaper shows up at a dinner party and says, "Oh, this is poison," and they all die. Anyway, keep going. Mr. Creosote? No. Better get a bucket. I'm I'm sorry. I did not know we have a racist working here. Um, Harold. And you know what? Did you notice when they first get there, he's the one that tends the bar, and like he does this thing in the background where he's looking at the bottles, and there's like a bottle of vodka or gin or something, and it looks like he's about to drink right from the bottle, and then they cut to something else. Good background acting, Henry Gibson. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, because they drank his bourbon, his Kentucky bourbon, because they're from Kentucky. And me too. Well, who is Scott Farkas? Why does it sound so familiar? Scott Farkas? Farkas? Oh, he. Yeah. By God, yellow eyes. You, he reminds that character, whoever that actor is. I have no idea. He reminds me of that actor. I think he's English. Um, he's redheaded. He was in the Black Mirror episode that was interactive. Help me. No, no, no. The Bandersnatch. Yes. Oh, I love that. Unless your name is Tom. Yeah, Bandersnatch, but it doesn't work with Apple TV. I had a. I. Oh no no, he's not the same kid. He's not the same kid. That kid from Christmas Story is way too old. But he reminds me of him. And oh god. Oh okay okay. I'm sorry. At least he wasn't in. At least he wasn't in a porno like somebody else in that movie. The one that got his tongue stuck to the pole. Which leads us to Screech. I don't know why it had to be Screech. Why couldn't it have been Zach and or Mario? Let's say there's not enough. There's not enough booze in the world. I had to do the Doctor Who porno twice because the first time the recording didn't work. Anyway, oh man, something went wrong and we had to do it again. And the thing about that, it's a really bad porno and it's stupid. And I wasn't expecting a good porno, but there's stuff that's actually. The scene with the gun I found really offensive. I don't think that someone. It's okay. Go watch Doctor Whore instead. And they're like, Elmo's dead. Elmo's dead. Satan lives. What? Okay, guys. Did Yeah, I hope it was a good swear word, like cocksuckers, not like shit, because But did this scene remind y'all of anything else? Also with William Wyndham in it? The pilot episode of Columbo, Prescription Murder. He strangles the wife. She ends up in a coma in the hospital. And there's a scene exactly like this where they say she's dead, but she just said one word, your name. You remember that? No, that's the chess one. The chess one with Lawrence Harvey, where the garbage compactor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was the chess one because he throws him in the garbage compactor and he doesn't die. It's the old Russian guy played by character actor, can't remember his name. did did my grandpa write this? So, can't remember what happens next except the end is shortly coming, but um Jessica comes yeah. What's interesting though is that makes it more of a closed mystery. I mean, it's not like And Then There Were None where they're all stuck on a on an island in the middle of a storm or anything like that. But there were 6 or 7 people at this dinner party. It had to be one of them. Um, you just have to narrow it down and figure out which. There is no surprise in this story. Excuse me, shit. I've watched this before, but I didn't remember it. And for some reason, the whole time, excuse me, I thought the murderer was Colleen Camp, but I just couldn't figure out why she would do it or how. Um, yeah, that's kind of dumb. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought it would be cool or something. S- yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah. And I hate to say it this way, but I didn't care who the murderer was. As long as it wasn't, Seth or the private investigator or something like that. Uh, that would be something if, like, the last episode of Murder She Wrote or the second to last episode, the murderer turned out to be Seth. Oh, we don't. Yeah, that's like 1998 internet theory. That's well, there's um I used to watch a I used to listen to a podcast called What the Fuck Are We Watching with my former co-host Kyle and his friend Lincoln. Yeah, and they had a thing where every episode they would talk about who in the movie of the actors was the best and the worst. And I'm going to have to admit, I think Colleen Camp was the best in this. I don't know who the worst would be. Yeah. Crossed Lines, the one with Jessica in bed. Is it Crossed Lines? Is that the name of it? The one with the tuna omelet. She's actually the murderer. Okay, maybe I take it back, and maybe I should just say the best was what's her name, Flo. No, sir, yeah, it's big. Kathy Bates plays Matlock, and I'm totally serious. Yes, totally serious. And when she's done with this role, she's going to retire. Allegedly, you never know when people say that if they're really going to do it. You know, like Rick Moranis, Kathy Bates. Yeah, I saw something. Oh, what was it? Oh no, it was that Stephen King documentary I was talking about. The part where they talked about Misery. They showed the clip of Kathy Bates winning the Oscar for Misery. She gets up there and she thanks her dad wherever he is, and she thanks Rob Reiner, and she thanks Stephen King for even thinking the. I think in my lifetime, that is the best actress win I've seen because she saves that movie because Rob Reiner does such a shitty job directing it. James Caan does. I don't like Rob Reiner. Like I just no. I just think he's Stand by Me was good. He did Spinal Tap as well, but I recently watched A Few Good Men. Oh, I did not like it. Oh, and I'm trying to sort of separate my hatred for Tom Cruise from that. I really hate Tom Cruise, but it's the first. It's another one of those movies. First half, it's all like him and Demi Moore and Kevin Pollak talking and doing the case. Then the second half is the actual trial. That's where you get Jack Nicholson yelling at Tom Cruise, "You can't handle the truth." Anyway, yeah. And sometimes it's just the music ruins it, you know? Well, I'm not on that. I'm not in that boat. But I think they should turn the. That's the sound mixers issue right there. I can't hear you through the. Anyway, yes. Stay on target. Stay on target. Oh, so it was okay. It was already in his system, and more in there, and so he's giving his car like I don't know, like an oil, like it's not an oil change. Like I don't know what he's doing. No, let me ask you guys this: if this guy invited you into his house, would you have a cocktail with him, or again, John Wayne Gacy? Yeah. They because they ruined they wasted so much money on printing receipts. Yeah. Yeah. You mean Elmo? Elmo. Elmo on drugs. So that does kind of make Harold the person with the best motive, opportunity, and means. Yeah. 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 He would. Ginger ale. Well, no, wait, no. I think this is a good clue. I really do think this is a good clue. Um, wait, I agree with you there. His reveal and what he does is really dumb. But the clue about the glasses, that he went from a short glass to a tall glass. And by the way, if he spiked the bourbon and then poured that into the chowder, when did he do it? And wouldn't everybody taste the bourbon? Hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Not the perfect way of killing someone. With a knife, a pocket knife. Like, hi, I'm Henry Bowers from Hit. It's obviously the guy with the knife. I mean, yeah. It's just, I'm sick and tired of cosmetics. Oh, sorry. You're right. Sorry. Is there a? I can't remember. Is there a freeze frame of Jessica laughing at the end? Oh. Oh yes. Do you, do you know? Years and years ago, I was watching a movie. I was watching Teen Wolf with my then girlfriend, and we were watching it on TV, and it was near the end of the movie with the basketball game. And I said, I will bet you $1 million this movie ends with them winning the basketball game. And then Michael J. Fox as Teen Wolf is going to do like a fist thrust. And then they're going to pause it and then roll the credits. Now, I was absolutely right. But the reveal, we're watching this. And this is like 1990, I don't know what. And she's like, oh my God, did you just see that? This is a few minutes before the movie ends. I'm like, what? She goes, a guy just zipped up his fly on the camera because they have these people sitting in the seats in the gym, and when they stand up to cheer, there's one guy that visibly zips up his fly. Why am I telling this story? I don't know really either. I just it's the gummy. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, that was it. No, his pee wasn't. See, why do you always have to take it down one more level? It's like I take it down to like the basement, and you take it down to like where the serial killer keeps. You take it down to like the Tetzel family from Germany. Oh please, I hear that every day. The Chuds. Do you know what Chuds are, Steve? Okay. Okay. You give it the number. It's your. Isn't that your job? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nothing but trouble. Yeah. Yeah. It is a horrible. It is horrible. But you know what that movie is, Steve? Though it's House of a Thousand Corpses as a comedy. That's what that is. I hate those two babies in the thing. Oh my god. I think I'm going to agree. Yeah, I'm going to agree with most of what Caleb said. What was the number, Steve? Okay. I'm going to give it a higher rating. I'm going to give it a 461. Um, I agree with what Caleb said, and it's charming. This is like if it's Thursday, it must be Beverly. Excuse me, like it's a little Cabot Cove drama. It's a little bit over the top. And what I'm finding that I really like about this show is that it does experiment with tone a lot, especially in the earlier seasons. If you look at something like Murder Takes the Bus, which is almost filmed like a noir drama in a diner, even though it doesn't look like that, but it's filmed like that. This is filmed a little bit. This is done a little bit more whimsically. I'm speaking of the script, not really the direction. No offense to the director, but Um, I agree with Caleb that the mystery kind of took a back seat, and I think that those people could have been used more. I was way more interested in those four crazy family members than I was in like the other stuff. Even the stuff with Jessica, or like maybe, well, no, they couldn't do this. I was going to say maybe if Winnie didn't show up in the beginning and they spent so much time on her, but um I really like the mystery element isn't there a lot. There's the who done it element, I should say, isn't there. It's not like Jessica suddenly says one of those people at my dinner party was a murderer, which I definitely would have done. But the clue about the glass, I think, is a really good clue. It's the type of clue that you know what they usually do with this, and I saw it today because I was watching the other episodes that are on this DVD, and I saw one today. I think it was involving a flower, and what they do is like all of a sudden, Jessica will be talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden they cut to like this flower on a table, and instantly I'm like, "Ha, that's gonna be a clue." They didn't do this in this one, and I really appreciated that. I almost feel like there were parts that looked like clues, but they weren't. Um, yeah, I not really. It's like, yeah, like the most. No, no, he was stupid. Yeah, he's like the mafia. Yeah, it's like whenever they have like a mafia character, it's not going to be him. The mafia character is too obvious. Oh, the bird's is in this. I'm sorry, I take that back. Yeah, Sharpie's in there. The deputy, what's his name? I didn't get that. I don't know where they were trying to go with him. Grover. Yeah, a deputy. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, going going back to Misery. These are the typewriters he like hit her on the head with in that movie. I don't think so. Can't remember. Yeah. 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 Uh, uh, I Yeah, I think that was really ineffectual because these don't seem like the people that would be running a family business. Mm, specifically a specifically a drugstore. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It by the way, if you want go ahead, Steve, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's got to be by the way, I do have to add, I'm watching it on mute right now, and when they serve the chowder, the killer, what's his name? Jeffrey Lewis. What's the character's name? Kenny. He's the first one that goes up to the tureen with the chowder in it, and he starts serving people. So he had a little while before that to put the barbiturates in. And also, Elmo was the first one to sit down at the dinner table, and he's already looking kind of queasy, like he's going to fall asleep. So it was kind of all there. You're just, I, I didn't know to pay attention to it because I kind of forgot that I was watching a murder mystery. Uh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I agree. Yeah. Go ahead, Caleb. That you're absolutely right. That would have been a really good clue, but they would have to write it in such a way that they couldn't. It couldn't be like the focal point of the scene. They couldn't do like the quick cut to like the incriminating pillow or whatever it would be. You know. But it's not minuscule. No, it's actually kind of cool because he gets the drink from Harold. It's in a short glass. Harold visibly puts in ice cubes. And then later on, when Flo talks to her husband, oh, I hope you're not drinking, he's like, oh, it's just ginger ale. If they had suddenly, like, showed a close up of the glass, did I belch? What's so funny? Why are you laughing at me? No, this is why he's drunk because it's I think it's a decent clue and it looks like a continuity error, but it's not. And I feel like other directors would have done like a close up of the glass or something really stupid like that. Yeah, and they've done this in the past and it drives me crazy. It's like, okay, there are not old people that had their wine while they were drinking 60 minutes and now they're too buzzed to figure out who done it on Murder She Wrote. Um Caleb, did you have 60 minutes in Canada? Cuz this okay. Because that's what this would be. This would be after 60 minutes on a Sunday night. 60 minutes occurred at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock was Murder, She Wrote. And it was cool to see Amos be like the folk. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you talk because I'm drunk. But it was cool to seeing Amos be like the center of the story for once. Yeah. They, they do that again, by the way. They go see Seth's brother, estranged rich brother who ends up getting murdered. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, I remember I remember seeing that with my mom. I remember seeing that with my mom when it first came out, and I don't know how old I was. I think maybe I was like 10 or 12. We both agreed it was a really shitty movie. And then I saw it again when I was like totally hammered, older. And I'm like, well, this is kind of good. I can't remember what happens in the second half of the movie. I just like the part where they get pulled over and they have to go to the judge's house, and it's Dan Aykroyd. Hey, you know what? He nothing nothing measures up. My favorite character playing person playing three roles is Tim Curry in Tales from the Crypt, where Ed Begley Jr. is a traveling salesman and he goes to this farmhouse and Ma and Pa they're both played by Tim Curry. Remember the Caleb? No? Oh man. And Tim Curry plays all three members of the family. He's Ma, Pa, and the daughter. And as the daughter, he has sex with Ed Begley Jr. And it's so gross because he sits on him and he's going like just not. Anyway, all right. Let's find out what we're playing. What we're gonna watch next. Caleb, since you are the guest, you get to spin the wheel. Here it is. They're bringing it out now. I've only got one cat today. Um, all right. All right, Caleb, when I give you the word, spin. And you can spin now. All right, so it's something unusual. I put these in. There's four of these total. I kind of sprinkle them into different things, so we can still call on them, but they're there. We will be watching. It's not going to be from season 5 next week. Don't. It's going to be. Yeah, this is not a swearing. There's no swearing in Murder She Wrote. Yes. Yeah, if you listen to this podcast with your family, if you listen to this podcast with your family, you are living in House of a Thousand Corpses. Okay, we're going to be watching one of the made for TV movie specials. And it's called A Story to Die For. And I don't have the synopsis of it because it's in a different DVD cover that I didn't bring. I brought the season 5 DVD cover. So Steve, if you want to, oh yeah, we play this game, Caleb. If you want to guess what it's about, A Story to Die For. I'm typing in right now. I think my typing is really loud. Uh huh. Well, that would be wrong. Oh. What's it called? Huh. So I'm looking at who's in this, and I'm going to be completely honest. I only recognize one name, and that's Daniel Day Kim, who is in Lost. Um, Richard Crenna is in this. Oh yeah, I wouldn't say no. Stephen Culp. Um, Stephen Culp is in this. I wonder if he's related to Richard Culp, but this is the synopsis. Jessica Fletcher, and then it says in parentheses, Dame Angela Lansbury, puts her sleuthing skills to work at a writers' conference after Russian author Yuri blah 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 is found murdered. No, we haven't. There, there. You're thinking of an egg to die for, with yeah, yeah, where there was this random book conference and this guy had a Fabergé egg, and I remember I doing research on Fabergé eggs for this after I watched it because I was really interested, and yeah, yeah. There's only like 50 something. Like there's like 50 something real Fabergé eggs, and all the rest are like Franklin Mitt imitations, like in Serial Mom. like like the live monkey that you could order in the 1950s and 60s. Gilbert Gottfried would always talk about it. Like, why the fuck? You're gonna send in $5. They're gonna send you a live spider monkey, and they did. And like, it would always die. Yeah, this is a true. I know. You know, yeah. I'm not a PIA member. I eat meat and all that, but I'm gonna be. Yeah, there's a line, and that's not it. Killing animals for like movies. Killing animals for fun, obviously. Even hunting, I'm not even a fan, although I understand that there's a need for it. But all right, so that's what we'll watch next time. So yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Really? Really? Wow. And mhm. I often it's a really good question. I go back and forth, and I think it depends on who your co-host is. But uh, yeah. Um, well, I have enjoyed this a lot. I don't know how long we've been recording. All I know is that I don't have any edits to do. But but it turns out that this was. I'm serious. The thing is, we were going to record about the thing, and I think this may have been more fun to talk about than the thing. Oh, yeah. Yes, 4 hours one time. Uh, yeah, but I love that this was just turned out to be your first episode. Well, not your first episode ever of watching it, but like your first episode maybe as an adult. I don't know, because it's just so quirky and weird. And this is not the usual way Murder She Wrote works. But yeah, it's still there, and I hate Joe, and I wish she was the dead one. So yeah, Flo. Sorry. Yeah, my grandma would, like, when she called you by your name, she'd go through all the other names in the family. Well, Sharon, Gail, Sean, Carl, Crink, Sean. Okay. All right, look, I've been around a long time. All right, everybody, well, say goodnight, Steve and Caleb. Bye, everybody. Now I gotta put my glasses on again. Okay, Caleb, I can honestly say that you were my